Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the UUP, and the GLD. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. Go to our website, sign up for the free membership for email alerts to videos like this, our live streaming sessions, and trade ideas as well. Go to the website, sign up, StockBookie.com. All right, let's get right to the daily SPY and a little bit just of a fade. Today we had the Google and Amazon earnings. They rocket shipped up. Amazon, though, only added up $6.61 up. That is talking to us. Google held its gains. Someone must have needed higher prices for that one. Google or Amazon, they just let go. So the daily SPY, again, gap up, holding this area. Nice gap fill. Back below it. We got above, back below. Little tail, so we have to respect that. So let's see what happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I guess North Korea did another missile test, so that shall make for an interesting weekend, guys. Other than that, above the MAs, nothing wrong. Light volume, though. This was the kicker right here. End of the day, we did 8 million on the last 10-minute candle. If you take away that, you're lucky to have 50 million today. So I guess there must be a holiday weekend or something. I'm not really sure, but the volume did just dry up. So keep an eye on that. That's very important. But again, still okay. Let's see if we can consolidate more into this trend line. See if the trend line kicks this one up a notch and shoots it up. Or does this thing just start falling apart and coming in? So right now the bulls are in charge. Let's see what happens on the light volume. If this gets below here and it comes back straight down, fills the gap, double bottom, we will be going testing these 220 lows. I guarantee it. And it could be one of those just dump out fests. So be really careful in these markets. I've been preaching to the choir for a while now. Still not a bad bullish pattern, choppy, sloppy. They did pop it up here, but it came up on gap ups, which is a little bit suspect to me. And then they just ended up being flat 9 days. This was like the last push up here. Little tail comes in. And this, we had a little bit of follow through today, but still didn't need to see more on the charts to see if this thing wants to pull back. So Monday, Tuesday will be a little bit important, but at this point, we'll see what happens. Weekly chart, nothing wrong. Closed above the pivot highs here and just kind of floating up. So let's keep an eye on the monthly or weekly. It's not really telling us much. Just got above this trend line and looking okay, but let's wait for pattern, see if it goes sideways, or does this thing come right in and shoot right down. So next week's going to be a big week for the markets. Let's see what it brings. Right now, technically, markets are still okay. IWM, though, guys. IWM was talking to us a little bit here. That nice little push up today. I got all these lines in here because I was doing some intraday stuff in our live session today. So let's pull this stuff out. There were just some gap fills. I was looking for some areas and stuff. And I don't know why it plays off into all my charts. But anyways, we can see it enough. So we're chopping around. They get this up, gaps up, over resistance, keeps it going, gaps it all the way to the top here. Could not make it through. We talked about this. It's got to start going. No, we need more volume, and this thing starts to need to move up. Just couldn't do it. Today, big reversal down off the highs. Not telling us something, but not a lot. I want to see what pattern, or does this come right back in and get through the MAs. Again, little ugly close today. $1.89 down, $1.33. 1.34% on the day, but a little bit ugly here. When this thing comes in and almost, I don't know if we had it to look, almost filled this gap. This one's talking to us a little bit, and I'll go to the IYT because that one's talking to us as well. So keep an eye on the IWM. Right now, still above the MA, still a strong stance, but that little reversal on light volume, somebody wanted out. So that you have to take a look at and make sure that you're up. This, though, topping tail on the weekly. Not a lot of volume. It wasn't bad, but we got to keep an eye on that one, guys. So at this point, if you are short this, just hold on to these trades. Weekly chart, not the best, not the worst, but this tail, they pushed it up and it came right back in. That sending up some smoke signals, guys, to me. So beware of these markets going into next week. Like I said, I guess North Korea shot a missile. Didn't work out for them, but they're stirring it up. So if anything happens with the markets, it's going to be something like that. It's got to be some major event or something, unfortunately. And if they do, that gives them a reason to sell, and it will dump. If we have no reasons to sell, we'll keep going with the light volume, and this thing could possibly keep grinding high. So keep an eye on that. We did do a live session today. Go into that, watch that. We had some good trades. We had a couple of day trades in there, made a little bit of money, but yeah, weekly chart, a little bit of a topping tail at the top, so you got to keep an eye on that. Volume wasn't too good this week, but it was a little bit better than the following week. So, all right, let's look at the daily chart on the Qs. Qs, boom, made new highs again. Amazon and Google led the way today and came right back in, though, guys. It was a little interesting session. You know, they talked all this hype on CNBC about, oh, the NASDAQ's going to crank tomorrow, but we gapped up, came in, and just pretty much floated. So, on no volume. It was really interesting today, guys, to watch this intraday action pretty much doing nothing. But we had the nice float up. We got above the inside bar. Again, nothing wrong. Let's go to the weekly chart. We had a nice push up. Again, this is the part where next week on Friday, we need to close somewhere up in here. If this thing doesn't and just comes right back around, you know that this could have been a blow off top and this could be coming down fast and furious. So again, we need a news related incident to send these things down, because at this point, our GDP numbers that suck, this sucked, everything sucked. It doesn't even matter anymore. The markets are ignoring everything other than the geopolitical news. Maybe North Korea, maybe Trump's crap or whatever. The debt ceiling got extended. So just keep an eye on that news crap, because that's what's really driving these markets at this point. But again, eventually people are going to want out. And if everybody runs to the exit, it's going to get ugly quick. The DIA. The DIA, again, you know, got above these areas, trying to push. Weekly chart, not bad. We did not get above this big red bar, though, so that's telling me still inside bar bearish pattern. We are in a bullish stance above the MAs on the weekly, so nothing wrong. But if this was more bullish, it should have popped up, got through the highs, and shot up for the 220 area, and it did not, even on the light volume, which was pathetic action today. This is just like the SPY, gapped it above resistance, gapped it above the next resistance, got it to the bigger resistance, which is consolidation. Just couldn't get through it. Chopping. Today it came in a little bit more. So again, bullish pattern here. Got to see at least another 4 or 5 days on it before it moves up. If this starts to move down and starts really ripping, look out, guys, because we made a new high. Not an all-time high, but then they ripped it up. And if they drop it from a high pivot, it could easily go down into the 190 area, 200. So keep an eye on this one. Let's see if we could drop into this area. And again, we need more pieces of the puzzle next week to see where this thing goes. Up, needs to consolidate and then move. Down, I'd love to see just a nice follow through, get below the MAs and just start ripping it down. So again, nothing wrong above the MAs on all time frames. Well, the bigger ones, and let's take it each and every day. Volume really was terrible today. Keep an eye on volume come next week. If it picks up, we could be in trouble. IYT, this one's talking to us, guys. Nice float up with the markets, gets above the MAs, gets above the trend line there. It's like, hello, look at me, I'm great, hurry up and buy. And all of a sudden, boom, 4 days straight down. The 20 MA did hold it. It did fill the gap as well. Let's see what next week brings. But overall, bearish pattern, inside bar, a little bit weak with this thing coming down, but holding the 20 MA. Weekly chart. Weekly chart, same thing. There's your trend line. There's your bearish pattern. Gets above it, comes right back in. Still a bearish pattern, setting up for lower prices. So, guys, it needs to get above. If you're bullish, it needs to get above this area and continue rolling up to the all-time high. If it cannot do that and keeps consolidating, this thing's setting up for some lower prices to come. So beware of that. And when the IWM and the IYT don't lead, it smells trouble. USO. USO. This one's been a fun one, huh, guys? They're still hyping it up with the OPEC and all this crap. They almost got this thing going today, and then it pulled right back in, ended up flat. So light volume, and they still couldn't get it going. But down, sideways, MA starting to curl down. I'm telling you, this one's setting up for possibly a retrace, and then the next leg down. If it continues sideways, we should definitely retest the 988 lows, and then we'll have to see where this thing goes from there. But if it cracks this big trend line here, that's the one, that's the line in the sand. It's going to click, and just keep rolling down. Market's dump. I'm telling you, we're going right back down to 769 all-time low, especially if this thing cracks. It's going to get ugly on the USO. So, with all that to say, the weekly chart, nothing bad, just a little chopping around today. This week, let's see. Yeah, actually this week was ugly. Or actually, I was more last week. Come on, let's see if we could do this here. There we go. But let me erase that line there. Yeah, so we had this big weekly bar down. That's telling me lower prices, guys. Definitely. But we're in this channel here. We got to the top and boom, right back down. Either way, if it cracks through here, we still have this. But down with these moves coming in, ah man, central bankers just making it do its thing. Look at these moves. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But eventually, if this clicks in, cracks that level, make fun of me. We're going to 762, down in this 772. When it's all said and done, especially if this area cracks and this thing starts coming in. So just mark your calendars for that one. I still think it's going to go lower from here, but one step at a time. We'll play it as if it's going to 772. UUP. UUP, this is another one, down 3 cents today, kind of doing nothing out of the blue. Moves, and it sits here for 4 days, 5 days, doing nothing. Again, bearish consolidation, holding the double bottom, trying to hold the 200 MA. If this gives up, I would love to see it around the $24, $25 area. So if you want to short, or if you want to short this thing, or if you are short, try to let this thing ride out to see what happens. If it starts popping up, gets above the trend line, you're going to have to tighten that stop up. But I'm thinking one more leg down, then the next leg up. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not, hard to say. Still not a full pattern here. Like to see another week of consolidation, and then possibly the next move down. Again, holding double bottom, trying to hold the 200 MA, but setting up for lower prices. So you got to keep an eye on that. Weekly chart. Weekly chart, same thing. The big one with this, though, we came into the 50 MA on the weekly, guys. This is touching it as long as with that double bottom, too. So big support down here as well. I still think it could get one good shakedown and then the next pop up. But it is making lower highs as it's coming in, so that's a little bit ugly. But let's see if it could break that counter trend of coming down, get above the line, and start ripping up. If it gets above this pivot, that pivot, then I'd expect higher prices. But again, one day at a time, guys, on these charts here. Each and every day gives us a new piece of the puzzle. So slow it down. Let the market tell us what to do. All right, so gold. Gold was up 38 cents. Again, we did get above this 50 MA and the 200 MA. That was the big part. But, it's just not going to rip through there and just keep going on its merry way. It's not that easy, guys. Goes into this upper trend line, pulls right back to the 50 MA, gets a slight bounce. Now we're just waiting for a pattern here. This would be an inside bar, bullish pattern if it stays up above the 20 and the 200. Let's see if this thing just keeps chopping, and then possibly starts to rip. Actually, that's the 50 MA, the 20's down here. And see how the 20 is coming down here, now starting to move up here on the weekly. If this thing chops around sideways weekly, this thing curls up in the price, boom, this thing's going to take off. We did sell half of the GLD here, pulled back a little bit. Let's see if we can get another up move. That's on the weekly. Weekly's fine. Daily chart, same thing though. Closed right on top of the 20 MA, a little bit below it actually, but still, this is slightly bearish right here. But overall, it's overall bullish. Still need to get above the all the MAs. That would help. Today we closed below the 20. But let's see if we can get another push up into this area here. We have a gap to fill, double top up here. But again, it's just kind of chopping around, slight bullish manner. I don't like the fact that it popped and came in, but let's see if it could just consolidate and then start popping up again. Nothing wrong with the GLD, still above the MAs, most of them, and still just rocking it out, guys. Just killing it. We've been in this trade since 110.34 or so, and boom, sold half up here. Let's see if we get the pullback and the next leg up. So that's the GLD. Let's just go to, Jnug. We've been looking at that. We're going to make this short here. Jnug is holding on to this area at 431. Next area is 383. The GDXJ, same thing, holding it, but slightly bullish, holding on to the 750 retrace. Let's see what next week brings for these. So far, Jnug holding on to that low, but it did crack all that part. It still could go to 383. So, all right, guys, it's been a long day. We did a live session. Again, go to StockBookie.com, sign up for the free membership. I really do appreciate it. Again, thanks for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. 10,000 followers on StockTwits now. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks again. God bless. See you on the charts.